7.
That's a 7-year work.
Yeah.
I'm called to order the Highland Park Board of Education Hybrid Workshop Voting Meeting today, Monday, December 16th, 2024. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and the Highland Park Board of Education, has caused notice of this meeting setting forth the time, date, and location to be submitted for publication to the Home News Tribune and Star Ledger and posted on the board's website at least 48 hours in advance of this meeting. Members of the public who wish to address the board will be given the opportunity to do so before the board adjourns for the evening. May I have roll call, please?
Dr. Beatty,
Here.
Ms. Cassell-Dunn,
Here.
Dr. Coleman, Dr. Pixley, Ms. Prus,
Here.
Dr. Schoolman, Ms. Stanio,
Here.
Ms. Vardaman, Ms. Voorhees.
Here.
We are now going to recess to executive session. Be it resolved pursuant to the Sunshine Act, NJSA 10:4-12 and 13. The Highland Park Board of Education will now meet in closed session to discuss the matters related to HIB and discipline. These exemptions are permitted to be discussed in closed session in accordance with NJSA 10:4-13. Information regarding the board's closed session discussion will be disclosed to the public as soon as the need for confidentiality no longer exists. I move that we recess to executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
and then proceeded to nod.
Right?
All right, I move that we reconvene to regular session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Beatty,
Here.
Ms. Cassel Dunn,
Here.
Dr. Coleman, Dr. Pixley, Ms. Prus,
Here.
Dr. Schoolman, Ms. Danielle,
Here.
Ms. Vardaman,
Here.
Ms. Voorhees.
Here.
Let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've had one communication since our last meeting from the Highland Park CPAG requesting a dialogue on the special education evaluator decision. We now have our approval of minutes for the hybrid workshop public meeting on November 11th, 2024, and the hybrid voting public meeting and executive session for November 25th, 2024. I move that we approve those minutes.
Second.
Dr. Beatty,
Yes.
Ms. Cassel Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Prus,
Yes.
Ms. Danielle,
Yes.
Ms. Vardaman,
Yes.
Ms. Voorhees.
Yes.
All right, we're going to move on to our student representative report.
Okay, from Irving. Irving looks forward to their kindergarten and first grade sing-alongs this week to welcome the holidays. Lead U will be joining Irving this week for assemblies on being a great friend, an upstander, and empower our students to be the best they can be. And thank you to all the families who donated for Operation Snowflake to support families in our school.
So for Bartle, Operation Snowflake is happening right now. Please sign up to help a Bartle family in need for the holidays. The winter concert will be held on Thursday, December 19th at 7 p.m. in the Bartle Auditorium. For the middle school, the planned fundraiser was a big success. The parent group running this event was able to raise enough money for a DJ and a photo booth for an upcoming winter dance. The middle school is appreciative of all efforts and cannot wait for the dance. The middle school also has started a National Junior Honor Society program for the 8th graders. The information for this program is posted on the website under Menu and National Junior Honor Society. The information includes the bylaws of the middle school and the selection description. Invitations for students who qualify have been sent out on Friday. Please be sure that your child fills out the form so that we can review their application. The PTSO hosted their third meeting of the year last Wednesday. The meeting focused on PTSO fundraising, and there was a presentation from the Rutgers Fame program. The middle school students had a wonderful time decorating their first period doors in a winter theme. The winter pep rally is planned for Monday, December 23rd. The middle school will celebrate all the winter sports teams and grade levels will play games and compete against each other to win extra recess. And lastly, for the middle school, they will have a locker opening game that will be played on Monday, December 23rd. Students will open their lockers and there'll be little prizes hidden in lockers throughout the school. The middle school has been practicing using their lockers more, which helps students stay organized with their things and their work. And that's it for the middle school.
And now for the high school, winter sports have kicked off. We have wrestling, girls and boys basketball, winter track, and cheer. Please come out and support our teams. The full athletic schedule is accessible on our website. The high school is already program planning for the 2025-2026 school year. We are excited to offer 3 new classes next year at the high school. We're developing our program of studies that will be shared with students and parents/guardians in January. Our band, orchestra, and choir had their winter concert on December 12th at the high school auditorium. The school had hosted students from Bartle so they could share their fantastic talent of our students. Coming up, we have a holiday fundraiser offering babysitting services on Wednesday, December 18th. All proceeds will benefit the junior class. Also, teachers and administration have been decorating their doors for the annual holiday door decorating contest. On December 23rd, the high school will also have its holiday assembly with performances from band, orchestra, choir, Spanish Honor Society, and our K-pop club. Lastly, a fantastic highlight from our service day. Highland Park Global Awareness created over 100 bags to donate to an Interfaith Rise charity event as a part of Service Day. The students also conducted workshops about refugees and the challenges they face coming to the United States, and students created cards with well wishes to families. Additionally, students in global awareness interviewed one of the founders of Tech Nation, a nonprofit that offers vocational training to refugees in the United States, to understand how nonprofits can be started to help people in the United States.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments for our student reps? All right, thank you. And we'll move on to our superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I have two exciting members of our community to recognize tonight, so I'm really excited about that. First, I'd like to introduce and bring up the principal of Bartle Elementary School, Miss Jennifer Knapp, to share some information about our student spotlight.
Hello, everyone. It's always an honor to be here to shine a light on one of our students. So tonight we are here to honor Mina, and we always like to choose a student who really embodies our school expectations of being kind, being responsible, and being respectful. I'm going to call up her teacher, Miss Leonardo, and she's going to share a little bit about why Mina was chosen.
So Mina sat quietly here for about 8 minutes and then said, "Where's the rest of the class?" So it's just really shows Mina doesn't recognize how special she is. The rest of the class isn't here today, are they? It's you, right? So I wrote, Mina is such a standout in our class. She always puts her best effort into everything she does, whether she's tackling a tricky assignment or sharing her ideas in class. She's super focused and does a great job working on her own, showing how responsible and hardworking she is. What truly sets Mina apart is her kind and caring nature. She's always willing to help a classmate in need, share a smile, or offer encouragement. Her positive attitude creates a welcoming and supportive environment for everyone. Mina's hard work and dedication has paid off in remarkable ways. She has made tremendous progress in her academics and her personal growth. It's inspiring to see how far she's come. Mina, your determination, kindness, and growth are a true inspiration to all of us. Keep up the amazing work. You're a star. From Miss Lipstein and I. Come on, Mina. And we're gonna take a picture. Make sure it's face the other way. Turn it the other way. She's like, "Where's the rest of the class?"
Congratulations, Mina. All right, next I'd like to invite the principal of the high school, Dr. Christina Donovan, to come up and share some words about our Middlesex County Coach of the Year.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me this evening as we celebrate Coach Harrison. So congratulations to Coach Sean Harrison on being named Middlesex County Coach of the Year. Mr. Harrison began his football career as a star athlete at Highland Park High School and returned to the team in 2019 as head coach. Mr. Harrison embodies the Owls spirit. He is hardworking, dedicated, encouraging, and always positive. The Owls finished their season with their first winning campaign since 2016. If we could put a round of applause for Mr. Harrison. Congratulations, Coach. You deserve it.
I don't know a terrible amount about the football program, other than I think there was a small amount of time where we either didn't have one or had to run a JV program or something like that. So I know there's been some ups and downs in our athletic programs, especially our football team. And it was just to give a reference, when we renovated the turf out there, we have these beautiful candle lights that do some really amazing exciting things when, you know, you score a touchdown or something like that. It's like super professional. So the first year we had the new lights, I went and I'm like, oh, I'm really excited. We're going to get a touchdown. No. I go, okay, well, to our athletic coordinator, Mr. Gervin, I go, what if we get a first down? I go, can I see the expensive lights for a first down? He's like, okay, so he does it. And I think the officials got a little bit mad because that's not protocol. They're flashing. The lights are dimming. They're flashing for a first down. I was so excited for a first down. And then he made a comment. He's like, that was the request by our superintendent, and what she says I have to do. I'm like, that's right. So and honestly, it really just means a lot going out and seeing football games this past year. You can see the hard work and dedication that not only you have for the program and the sport, but for the students. You are not only a coach, but you're a mentor to a lot of them. And there's a lot of students, just so that everybody knows, that, you know, come to school day in, day out, who might not feel connected to school itself, but come because of you and because of the work that you do. So it's more than just a sport. It's a way of life. It's a connection to the community. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, and congratulations for a well-deserved honor. Thank you. And that concludes my report. A great night to sign us off for the holidays. You're all more than welcome to stay for the duration of the board meeting. However, I know that you have other things to do, so feel free to leave, and thank you again.
All right, we're going to move on to public comment. The Highland Park Board of Education welcomes public participation and has reserved this time for your comments. Board policy number 0167 establishes and regulates the right of the public to participate in public meetings. Angela, how many do we have online? Okay, is there anybody on Zoom that would like to comment? And with no hands raised, we are going to close public comment and proceed to our board committee reports and recommendations. I'll start with curriculum and instruction. So curriculum instruction met last Thursday. We discussed benchmark data for ELA and math. So benchmarks are the periodic assessments that students take throughout the year to measure growth. And so for this first round of assessments, what you kind of want to see is, are students maintaining the performance levels that they were assessed at when they were last assessed on their benchmarks last spring. For ELA, very much so from K to 8, those students are, with the exception of first grade, which did see some decline. We discussed some possibilities behind that decline. It could be summer slide, which is a colloquial term for when students lose knowledge over the summer months. Or it could be that we did receive an influx of students from other districts. Teachers are anecdotally reporting that the students are coming in with fewer skills in terms of letter sound recognition and the ability, like those pre-reading skills that are necessary. So these ELA benchmarks are used to place students into intervention, and that's what's been done. So we're looking forward to seeing the next round of ELA benchmarks in the winter, which would be late January. And we'll kind of see the impact of intervention at that time. In regard to math, math scores were generally higher than the ELA scores, especially in the middle school grades, with the exception of 8th. The 8th grade benchmarks are always a little bit different because students do kind of split a little bit. Once they hit 7th grade, they may go into pre-algebra and algebra, and then by 8th grade, either again, pre-algebra or algebra. So the benchmarks were concerning for 8th grade, so that's something that we did want to note and definitely keep an eye on. And again, those scores were used to place students in intervention. And currently there's about 30 students in intervention for both ELA and math at the middle school, and it'll be about 40 for the next term. We also discussed field trips. There are many, many field trips to approve this month. They are attached on the agenda. I'll just kind of review some. One of them is a DECA trip to Florida and also to, I think it was Atlantic City. We also have trips to the Adventure Aquarium. We have trips to the Liberty Science Center. So multiple trips. The kids are going to get to go to a lot of places, be able to showcase some of their skills as well. So those are attached. We discussed 2 potential Schedule B positions. One is for tech crew, which be a Schedule B position for the high school. And the other is a Bartle Green team, which currently exists. And basically Schedule B would be to create a compensation system for the position for the tech crew and the Bartle Green team. And we also got a surprise visit from the New Jersey Department of Education for our pre-K program. The DOE was very impressed, and they noticed that the program was child-friendly, that it fostered a positive environment, and that there was active student participation and teacher interactions, and that the curriculum that we're using, which is Tools of the Mind, is being implemented with fidelity, meaning that it's being implemented as it's meant to be implemented, and that the preschool program has a robust professional development system. Some areas of growth included integrating some global materials to support all students in the class, such as sensory tools or calming centers, and differentiated play planning, and including more multi-language learner strategies and cultural tools like play foods from different cultures and stories from different cultures to really engage the multi-language learners. For our agenda items, number 1, we do have our field trip requests. We have approval of HIB reports as listed, A through H. We have approval of 2 job descriptions. One is for a culture and climate specialist, and the other is for an HVAC maintenance helper. There is the approval of an option 2 program, and that would be for an EduSeer for 2020, that would be effective for a student from December 17th through June 18th at the cost of $1,023. We have the approval of some interns or junior practicums and observations as listed, A through J. We have the approval of the 2024-2025 fall school bus emergency evacuation drill report. We have the approval of number 7 of the submission of the school self-assessment for determining grades under the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act. So that's when each school does a self-assessment on their HIB protocols. We have number 8, the approval of a contract addendum for district personnel long-term substitutes for CST services. For number 9, we have approval for the collaboration for a 7th grade science middle school unit on ecology. We have the approval number 10 for home instruction students A through G. Number 11, we have the approval of the acceptance for the New Jersey Coalition Inclusive Education, New Jersey's Inclusion Project Technical Assistance Grant. We have number 12, the approval of professional development. Under professional development, this is all from that New Jersey Inclusion Project. And we have for number 13, the approval of Holocaust Remembrance Day Assembly for high school. And that concludes my report. Curriculum instruction had a lot of items today. Are there any questions?
More just a comment. We've had this conversation briefly. I looked at the field trip request list, which is very extensive and pretty expensive, and not suggesting anything going currently, but going forward in the coming year, I think we have to look as a board really closely at the cost of field trips. A portion of it is the cost. When in the past, we've had conversations about how students are affording it and how we're supporting students who may not be able to afford it. Then there's also a pretty large cost to the district. As we have to pay for chaperones, we're paying for their flights and hotels and nurses and other things, which obviously we need to do, but I think we have to really look at that given the budget that we may be heading into in the coming year, and really thinking closely about how we can maybe curtail that a little bit in the future if we need to budget wise. Comment.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, did Equity and Excellence meet? Is there anybody that can give a report?
And we're meeting this Thursday.
Oh, you're meeting Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay. Finance and Facilities.
Yes, we did meet on my glasses, there they are, December the 10th. We had our finance and facilities meeting. Just cover some of the topics that we talked about and then hit the agenda. Colin was there to report out on before and after care. And he told us that now we're officially licensed both as a childcare facility and by the county for subsidies. So that process is starting this week, I imagine, starting with Bartle. Colin's arranged for translators and childcare, so parents could come in and sign up for subsidies through the county system. He's also going to offer some Saturday sessions to help people come in and do that. Staff at the before and after care has had special education training, CPR and AED trainings. And currently he said that there were 292 students in the program. Last year, this time, there were 238. And he's been getting a lot of positive feedback from parents. He put out some type of a feedback form, and he's been getting some positive feedback. So things seem to be doing really well on our before and after care. John reported out on facilities, the Bartle walkway. We have a project manager who he's met, and they're assembling a team, including mechanical engineers, to begin to get that project going. Also, the project on the Bartle bathroom is underway or will be underway. Our architects, Spiesel Architects, gave us tile samples, so now John and whoever else are negotiating the colors of the tiles at Bartle. Because whatever happens to that bathroom will then be replicated in other bathrooms as we can afford to do them in the building. The plans for the baseball field renovation have gone to DOE for approval, so that's also moving along. And John has been looking at companies for our greenhouse project, looking at kind of, I guess, plans, almost like templates for how the greenhouses look at other schools, and he's making contact with other schools as well to get information on what to do there. And then we went over finance. The Schedule B positions, as you mentioned in curriculum, are on our agenda. Actually, I can just go through the agenda. It might be easier. That makes sense. Okay, I'll go through the agenda. We have approval of the bill list from November 26th to December 16th in the amount of $3,945,000 about. We are going to be voting to allow our board business administrator to process an additional bill list on or before January 8th, since we're not meeting until later in the month, but bills still have to get paid. We have a treasurer's report as of October 31st. Our board secretary's report, as we do every month, certifying that no budget item has been overextended as of October 31st. Same thing with monthly financial statements, that we have sufficient funds to meet the district's obligations for the remainder of the year. Budget transfers, travel related expenses. Here we have number 8 is contractors. And again, we're voting on outside contractors that can help us as we need it for paraprofessionals or health aides. So that's what is home care. Well, home care has a lot on here. Also, if we need a child study team, fill-ins, social work, learning consultants, ABA, and so forth.
Also a group that could help us with, if we need to fill in a school psychology time, Delta T group. Some monthly training for help in the area of vaping prevention for our high school peer leadership teams. The Lead You Assembly, which I think our representatives mentioned. And then we have number 9 is a long list of contractors for professional development for January 27th and also going forward through the winter and spring. It's a very long list, which is awesome. Number 10 is an ice maker at the middle school, which is being covered under our cafeteria money. And the installation, number 11. Replacement of the bleachers at Bartle. So we've been doing this, I think, in 4 stages. So we're at the second group of bleachers to be replaced. Also, the electrical upgrade, so those bleachers can move in and out. The baseball field drainage to we're approving those that to go to the Department of Education from our architects. Number 15 is a sidebar agreement related to our health benefits. When we changed health benefits, we went from the public to a private. There was an issue over the summer when staff left and they were 10-month or 12-month. Whether they had their summer benefits. So Denise and the association has worked out this agreement to take care of that difference between the 2 health benefit packages. Number 16 is, so the grant, these are the preschool, for us in order to continue expanding preschool, we applied for 2 grants from the state, both alterations at Irving. We were granted both, but we're accepting only one, and that one is going to be an interior alteration. So that's number 17 to accept that grant. And number 18 is the other grant that we were approved for, but we're not accepting because in order to accept the grant, we have to have 60% of the share. We have to have in the bank, as it were, 60% of the share of that project. We do have it, but we need it for the Bartle Walkway, so we're only accepting one of the grants that we were offered. That's number 18. And that's the agenda. Any questions? No? Great.
Yeah, I do have one question. The baseball renovation, how long or generally does the Department of Education get back to us quickly on those types of things? Because is it still possible the drainage might get in before spring season? No.
Usually it takes 4 to 6 weeks for
Okay.
DOE approval.
Okay.
And it depends on the weather. If the ground's frozen, they can't.
Okay.
And then you can't play on it once they either plant sod or plant grass. You can't play it. You have to let it, the roots.
Germany.
You repeat all of that. I'm sorry. Typically, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for the DOE to approve the submittal. And then it's weather dependent. If the ground is frozen, they're not going to be able to work. And then once it is planted, or it takes time for the seeds to germinate. And they wouldn't be able to play on it for the season. So most likely no promises, most likely no.
Okay, thank you. Personnel and communication, did you officially call that?
I am now. Go personnel and communication.
We met last week on the 10th, discussed a lot of personnel agenda items, and then just one communication issue related to absences and what constitutes an excused absence for Highland Park versus excused for the state of New Jersey. From what we could tell, it looks like there were only 2 officially excused absences for the state of New Jersey. Those are religious holidays and take your child to work day. That's it. So the other ones all do add up, ultimately toward that truancy number. And then we just discussed sharing some communication about that to families because it's still a little bit confusing. And then we have the agenda. We have number 1, approval of leave of absences for A through C. Number 2, approval of resignations, A through C. Number 3, approval of appointments to rescind, A through C. Number 4, approval of appointments, A through U. However, we are tabling letter M. Number 6, approval of additional instructional assignments. That's for US History 1 and 2, World History.
Number 5.
Oh, and a tiny number 5, sorry, approval of a sidebar for Mr. Richardson at the high school. This is to mentor Mix Perez as the interim assistant principal for the high school from January 2nd to April 18th. Then we have number 6, A through E. Number 7, approval of professional development presenters for PD Academy. That is letters A through J, and it is mostly annual dyslexia training. And then one about communication impairment. And that's it for personnel.
Any questions for personnel and communication? All right, and policy.
Policy did meet on December the 9th. For the most part, we met so that we could look at 2 policies, 0131 and 0155, so that we could recommend to revise these policies to match the consensus that we reached at our board retreat on December 5th. To move to three master committee model and one being a committee of the whole. So in order to do that, we revised these 2 policies and they are ready for first read. And then beyond that, we had an initial discussion about gift grants and donations, the policy and the regulations that we have related to when members of the public gift the district either money or an item. So we only had initial conversation. It's definitely something that we're going to keep on our agenda. I think also there's discussions going on amongst leadership teams in the district to see what is the process in each building currently and how that matches policy and what might work better in the future. And then we brief discussion on the 2363, which is, I say it as the cell phone policy, the privately owned technology. Seems to be some action on the state level, but it's going to move pretty slowly. So I don't know. So it's still on our agenda, and conversations and discussions are going on within the district as well on that. So there's nothing on those on the agenda. On the agenda are for the first read, 0131 and 0155, which is our board committee policies. For second read, which we spoke about in the past, is change to the field trip policy, which is related to chaperones and also the timing for when people apply for trips. And then 8561 is the procurement procedures for school nutrition, our school nutrition programs. Any questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant to follow up with you about this before the meeting, but on the state discussions about the cell phone policy, are you talking about like the Senator Gopal bill? The state cell phone policy, is that the legislation
I
you're
think they
talking
literally
about?
were just going to go to a committee to research. I mean, that was my general read on it. Do you have more information, Ann?
Oh, I just think that bill requires districts to have a policy, and so we're already ahead of it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's-
But they,
that's what I wanted to.
they do, that does require it, but there is also discussion about creating a statewide policy, which the NJSBA is like, please no.
Yeah,
Please just allow local districts to create their own policy. So, we can still create our policy, but it may be
Yeah,
usurped in the future.
I think waiting for leadership from the state from this, it would not be ideal. Because I think we actually are ahead of what the state might be willing to do. And so if we want to go further than that, which I think there's a consensus that we do, we should just go ahead and do that, not wait for the state.
Okay, we're going to move on to our second public comment. The Highland Park Board of Education welcomes public participation and has reserved this time for your comments. Angelo, how many do we have on Zoom? 7. If anybody would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand and Angela will tell me to call on you. Okay, and with no hands raised, we are going to close public comments. All right, we're going to go back to our board action items for curriculum and instruction. I would like to move items 1 through. Oh, before I do this, quick question, Denise. If someone wants to not approve a trip,
I was gonna ask that
a
question.
specific
when it
trip,
came to-
is there a way to do that?
Just tell me the trip and we'll
Okay.
notate it in the minute.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to move items 1 through 13.
Second.
Dr. Beatty?
I'm abstaining from number 5 and yes on everything else.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm abstaining on number 5
Okay, that's it.
and yeah, yes on everything.
Ms. Cassel Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Prus?
Yes.
Ms. Stanio?
Abstain from number 10 and yes and everything else.
Thank you. Ms. Vardaman?
I abstain from number 2 and yes on everything else.
Thank you. Ms. Voorhees?
Yes, on everything except number 1. So I can vote no on particular trips then. So no on Adventure Aquarium and no on Medieval Times.
Thank you.
Okay, finance and facilities.
I move numbers, and prepare this, number 1 to. Sorry. Number 1 to 18.
Second,
Dr. Beatty?
yes.
Ms. Cassel Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Prus?
Yes.
Ms. Stanio?
Yes.
Ms. Vardaman?
Yes.
Ms. Voorhees?
Yes.
Personnel and communications.
So for personnel and communications, I move items 1 through 3, items 4, except for letter M, and then items 5 through 7.
Second,
Dr. Beatty?
yes.
Ms. Cassel Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Prus?
Yes.
Ms. Stanio?
Yes.
Ms. Vardaman?
Yes.
Ms. Voorhees?
Yes.
And policy.
I move numbers 1A and B and 2A and B.
Second?
Second,
Dr. Beatty?
yes.
Ms. Cassel Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Prus?
Yes.
Ms. Stanio?
Yes.
Ms. Vardaman?
Yes.
Ms. Voorhees?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to move on to board liaison reports. I'll begin. I attended the Board of Health meeting last Thursday. I shared information on our universal screening pilot and the placement of students into intervention after the after analyzing the screening results. And anybody else want to share anything from anybody they meet with?
I
You go ahead.
I was actually able to make it to Commission for Universal Access. And I think the only really pertinent piece was there were some vehicles blocking access to buildings, and there was some really good communication between the police and administration. And those issues seem to be resolved. But they were blocking access for students with special needs, I believe. And so those were taken care of. And so there's just some acknowledgement, I think, that there was really good communication between the district and the police department, which seemed to be addressed. And from my knowledge, those aren't continuing issues. That's it.
Oh, no, I said. I did attend the Middlesex, our county school boards association meeting. And they were talking about the budget process. They were highlighting things, Sayreville and another district. I was interesting, but I felt that our our budget process was as, as transparent and open as theirs is. They talked about administrators reporting out on each of their budget areas, and they went through their process. I was comfortable with what we're doing, even though it was interesting to hear the others. That was really it.
I have something for the Human Relations Committee. Want me to share that the New Jersey Division of Civil Rights is offering multiple free virtual trainings. And they're aimed at preventing and addressing discrimination. And I can send the link so we can send out the information through the bulletin. And the other thing is that there is a youth, what is it? A youth competition for No Hate in the Garden State, where middle schoolers through high schoolers can either individually or together as a group create a campaign to showcase how you can combat bias in your community. And I can also share that link with you as well.
Okay. Next, I think is the president's report. We received a notification that there are invitations for public comment on school funding in New Jersey. These opportunities for public comment are scheduled around the state. The first is December 17th. If you're not busy tomorrow from 2 to 4 p.m. It is at the New Jersey Department of Education in Trenton. And then there's a date on January 8th, January 14th, and January 16th. We can actually share this information in our board bulletin. If you have any feedback on, adjusting how schools are funded in New Jersey, this is a great opportunity to share that feedback with the Department of Education.
Are they all 2 to 4 p.m., the other dates as well?
No, there's
No.
one that's 6 to 8. There's
Okay.
10 a.m. to noon, and another one that's 6 to 8. And I do think that there is another method of outreach as well. There are comment forms. Seems to be.
I wonder, do you know if students could submit a form or a
It-
letter on?
I am not positive.
Writing campaign?
Yeah, I'm not positive on.
You
Absolutely.
don't have to be 18 or.
No,
It didn't say that anybody couldn't.
no, they
Um,
absolutely can.
Yeah. So,
That would be awesome.
yes, it would be awesome. Okay, that concludes my report. Any old business? Any new business? Okay, in that case, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year. See you in January.
That was very